Good morning, I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of what we call the Success Strategies Advantage. And I'm going to talk to you today about a presentation I would call, What is Your Communication Level? You know, we live in a really complex world, but it's not 100% complex. And even with things that are challenging or difficult to understand, communication, positive communication is the key. For example, we're in a time of low prices, high expenses due to inflation that we've been facing with fuel and fertilizer costs basically going through the roof recently. So maybe here's an example. Perhaps your revolving line of credit is getting kind of tight, like you don't have enough credit line to draw on to keep everything paid. Well, these are the times when you need that additional credit, or you need a credit line at all, perhaps, compared to really good cash flow times. So my suggestion is that you should communicate this with your loan officer. It's very crucial that you do so, and maybe more significantly, that you do it early. You have to give him or her enough time to do it before you actually need the money. Because when you need it and you're falling behind, there's this thing called compounding of interest, late fees, all kinds of stuff that adds up. So communication with your loan officer is crucially a good thing to do, a very positive thing to do. Here's another example. You have a large vendor that you're behind on your payables with. You need to communicate with that vendor ASAP, as soon as possible. Develop a plan, because remember, they too, and this is true for our business as well, they too have bills to pay, and they too have a payroll to make. And if they're a really good company, a good vendor that you enjoy working with, they do a great job for you, they have good people, and that's what makes them a good vendor. So those good people cost a lot of money, and I would suggest to bear in mind that they have things to pay for as well. Number 3, here's a good one. I'm behind with the IRS. I've heard this numerous times over the last 28 years, and I can't reach them. Well, then leave them a message and write to them. Get it in writing so you have an audit trail, which does what? It demonstrates your communication, and it shows your resolve to solve the issue, overcome the challenge of being behind with the IRS. I don't like dealing with the IRS either. I fund a lot of their payroll, I think. I say that jokingly, but in some respects it's true. But the reality is, again, if you get behind with the IRS, whether it's payroll taxes or income taxes, as I've seen with several clients over the last 20 some years, get on a good communication level with the IRS. I'm just not buying the story that you can't reach them. Keep going until you do. And just reach out to them, get in touch with them, and work out a plan with them. And here, number 4, this is a personal example. I am the master of what I call, quote unquote, one more task before dinner time. And my camera lady, my beautiful wife, is here laughing at me as I say this, but believe it or not, you may find this hard to believe, but sometimes I even overbook myself. So I say that jokingly, she's laughing at me right now. But in this case too, communication goes a long way. So as my business coach Dan Sullivan said, and I quote, all progress begins with telling the truth. End of quote. Again, all progress begins with telling the truth. That is so true in the case of the banker. When you need more money, credit line, whatever it is, or a restructured debt, or maybe going interest only for 6 months, you've got to give him or her adequate time to get it done. Be fair to them. You're really being fair to yourself because you're the ultimate recipient of the benefit. So give him or her adequate time. In the case of vendors, always reach out and build a plan to repay them. They do not want to treat you like trailer trash. They really will work with you, but you have to communicate with them. And the IRS, talk about solutions with them. Do not try to avoid them. That is not a positive long-term solution. But again, reach out, communicate with them as often and as much as you possibly can. And finally, my last example, which I'm guilty of at times, on family, let your family know if you fall behind schedule. All of this is about communication, and all positive communication is beneficial. So I would suggest this: use that to your advantage. Again, I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage, and I want to thank you for listening today. Thank you very much for your time.